Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another movie review. Recently I saw a film called Bernie, and this is a a true story based on a mortician, or they use the term funeral director, which I don't use. I think mortician is more proper, and I like to be archaic and old-fashioned, I suppose, and I still use the term mortician. Anyway, his name's Bernie Tierney, and he's from this little town in Texas, Carthage, and it was voted, according to the film, it was voted one of the top 10, or second on the list of top 10 most the best towns, small towns in the United States, particularly in Texas. And it's a very intriguing film, and it includes the talents of Shirley MacLaine and Matthew McConaughey as Danny Buck, the sheriff. And McConaughey really does a splendid job here. He's just a no-nonsense sheriff that doesn't take any guff from anybody, and he always gets his man any way he possibly can, even if it comes to unnecessary roughness. I like, police brutality, police brutality, and when I saw him do what he did, I couldn't believe it. I thought, only in Texas could this happen. That, God forgive me, send arrows my way, I'll hide, but I've been to Houston. Okay, I like it there. Okay, good barbecue, great people. Needless to say, only in Texas was such a thing like this happen. Uh, the story is really interesting. It's different than any other movie I've ever watched. Now, it's a little bit slow because it's a documentary, so you may not care for it, and some people may not like the true nature of it and the look and sight of a mortician's life. But I thought it was intriguing. Plus, I know some morticians, and they're not really creepy people or anything. They actually have a good sense of humor, and they're nice people. I mean, they have a hard job, and God love them. It takes a very special person to go into that kind of work, just like it would be for somebody going into bereavement. I don't know which is harder, being a mortician or somebody who's a bereavement counselor. I'm thinking both are equally difficult jobs. Needless to say, Bernie Tierney, he is the type of guy that nobody expects anything bad of him. He's just a sweet soul. He's very affable and gregarious and magnanimous, and he buys things for people just because. And if he feels like they need a little bit cheering up, that's what he does, is so he can be accepted. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Now, the movie in and of itself is very intriguing, and Jack Black here, he plays a role that I've never seen him play, and that just proves that he has a lot of talent as an actor, and a lot of flexibility in just how he can flex his acting muscle. And I really feel that he did a really good job here, and he portrayed the role beautifully. He has a really excellent singing voice, and I'd love to hear him sing. And just to hear him sing old gospel songs was, kind of tickled me a bit, because I've seen him in School of Rock, and it was a great contrast to School of Rock, which is one of my favorite films ever, with Black in it. Needless to say, it was a really good kind of out of character role that you wouldn't really consider him playing at all. But he talked to the real Bernhard Turner. He interviewed him, and you can see clips at the very end of the film with Jack interviewing him, and I thought, oh well, how cool! I just was getting some pointers from the real man and seeing how he could follow his eccentricities and his little quips, and just his motions, his how he spoke, his delivery, everything. He just did that so well. Um, and Shirley MacLaine, she was just the mother of all bitches in this film, and you just loved to hate her, and you just thought, how on earth could Bernie ever fall for a witch of a woman? You know, is this a shrew? It's worse than a shrew. I think a honey badger. I would call her a honey badger. Yeah, this nasty, evil-tempered, ill-tempered, conniving, manipulative, wry woman with no compassion. Well, it's just mean. Well, she had some. Yeah, she had some qualities that I think were redeemable. Some, but not really that many. She just was not very kind to people. Um, but if you're not going to see the film, I am going to give away some spoilers. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, then you don't have to watch. I'll alert you as soon as the spoilers are over. But in the duration of the film itself, Bernie he knows he's living a good life. He has a life of Riley right now, and this woman is just endlessly rich. She's affluent. She's, you know, living high off the hog, and she doesn't really care what anybody thinks about her. He gets her to come back to church and worship and everything, and unfortunately he becomes her personal slave. And eventually that kindness within him, he starts to turn, and everything about her, she just drives him to the edge. And at one point in time, she asks him to go shoot an armadillo in the backyard, which he can't even do because he doesn't hunt. He's a very kind. He's a gentleman. He's kind of effeminate, but is kind of a gray area whether he's homosexual or not. They don't really go into detail there. They kind of allude to it. So I'm thinking maybe he was bisexual, but Lord only knows. He goes into the garage. He has the armadillo gun, and you see a flashback of their little soiree together at the Mexican restaurant. She's just chewing her refried beans over and over and over again, and he's just seething. His ire is nearly to boiling point. He's about to blow, and then you hear bang, 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 bang. So actually it was 4 times, just bang, 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 not 5, excuse me. He shoots her 4 times in the back. And then all of a sudden you see her just fall. And he says, "Oh my goodness, what have I done? God help me. What do I do? Just tell me what to do." And he shoves her in the freezer. Well, you don't really figure out that he's shoved her into the freezer until later. Eventually, Danny Buck finds this out through the woman's accountant, the woman the character that Shirley MacLaine plays. I think her name is Mrs. McConnehey or something like that. Mrs. McConnehey, her accountant, he's the one that suspected Bernie all along, and eventually he's convicted and found guilty, sentenced to life without parole. But in that case, even, you know, it's I would have probably have given him the same sentence because murder is wrong. Because in that case in his case it was premeditated. It wasn't done in self-defense. It was premeditated murder. And I hate to say this, but if I were in a relationship like that, I would probably be thrown in jail myself because I would have poisoned her tea with either arsenic or cyanide. I mean, make it quick. I wouldn't drag out her death at all. I would just say, you know, here's your tea. Hope you enjoy it, you bitch. So, you know, that would be a quick and painless death. Other than that, I can't really say. I don't really agree. I still think that he's a good guy. I mean, I'm with all the people at Carthage and what they felt about him and how they were standing behind him because he just was such a likable person and he really didn't mean any harm, but it was a thought through action that he carried across. It was there was no it was murder. I mean, there's no other way to say it. This is an interesting film. I wonder how people would take it. I wonder if people were to watch that and they were put into a jury, what how they would find him, or if some people would have quit. I think a lot of people would have quit. Um, anyway, that's the end of my spoiler alert. So if you were watching up to that point, then you can unstop your ears or whatever you were doing. Um, Bernie is a good film. I would say give it at least 3 stars and 2 thumbs up. It's slow. I'll be deliberate about that. Excuse me. It's it's a documentary. I have to say I enjoyed it quite a bit because it's just a different kind of film and stick to the end. There's a cute little song that one of the townspeople sings about Mrs. McConaughey's murder, and it was just funny. I don't know why, but my humor can be kind of dark at times, so I found it kind of amusing, that particular part. And there were some funny moments in the movie, and there's the whole Texan way of life and the way they talk, and I enjoy that because I've been to Texas myself, and I love Houston, and I'd go back there in a heartbeat if I could, just to have the barbecue. Yeah, and to see NASA, because at the time when I had gone to see my aunt who no longer lives there, she lives in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. But when I went, I was about 10, 11 years old. I wanted to be an astronaut in the most desperate of ways. It was my lifelong aspiration, and I always felt like I was called by the stars. Um, there's a part of me that still feels that way, though I'm going into the medical field, so I'm gonna keep my feet straight on the ground unless I go jumping out of an airplane or parasailing or zip lining. If they have a way for people like myself, just ordinary citizens, to get into a shuttle, although it would just be going around the orbit of the Earth, I wouldn't care. Get me out into space, I would love it. Put me in that centrifuge, maybe the 0G centrifuge. I would be so happy. I might toss my cookies, but hey, I mean, this is my right up my alley. I would totally do it. I just think it would be amazing and fascinating and awesome. It would be the best day ever. But anyway, I'm sorry to go on that little sidetrack about Houston. That this brings back a lot of happy memories, including astronaut ice cream. I know it's a lot of people think, ugh, yeah. I actually liked it. I think it was, not bad stuff. I could actually not get to, I really enjoyed eating that stuff. It was, to me, I thought, oh, this is yummy. And yeah, I'm one of those crazy people, but, hey, I mean, if you don't have the luxury of having real ice cream, then that's the next best thing, and it's not half bad, really. That's basically all I had to say about Bernie. If you want to see Jack Black in a different kind of role, then this is definitely a film for you to watch, because it's unlike anything you've seen him do, and it's good to see him kind of get outside his comfort zone, and he does a really splendid job. I do believe that. I just think that he was terrific, and I think he deserves all the kudos in the world for this, for going with a film so unusual and probably not so well known.